Savino is the Senior Manager and Head of FinTech Ecosystem Management and Monitoring. He really has in-depth knowledge about innovation, payments, but has also worked a lot in blockchain and biometrics, so very broad. What is interesting is that he has worked a lot with international organizations, actually, in, for instance, the European Commission Association of Blockchain Applications. It's quite interesting because you can bring in a different level to the conversation as well. Doral, you're the VP Strategy and Business Development at Personetics, and you have really a lot of years of strategy and business development knowledge, and you've worked previously also in the fintech sector via consultancy and with Banca. So you know kind of the trio of being in a fintech, being in a bank, and being in a consultancy. That's also interesting. And Erica, she's the MD at Accenture Interactive and Digital Experience Architect. She has worked different projects on digital transformation and also customer journey design collaboration. So thank you, the three of you, for joining us here today. You will be especially talking about customer engagement, hyper-personalization, how the project was brought to life and didn't really stay at a pilot. So I would say I give the floor to you, and in order for all of us to wake up a little bit, and we don't have a slide for you, but we will have more of a moderated conversation between Erica, Savino, and Doral. So the floor is yours.
Thanks, Natalie. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. And as Accenture, we were happy to be supporting the partnership between Intesa Sanpaolo and Personetics from the beginning. Today, let me guide you through some of the key points of this partnership story. Starting from the beginning, Savino, could you help us understand why Intesa Sanpaolo works with FinTech, the strategy behind, and how Personetics come into play?
Yes, first of all, good morning, everybody. Really glad to be here. Well, first of all, I would say that it's important to underline that Intesa Sanpaolo has been involved within, let's say, the FinTech domain at least since 2014, when we started to have a unique point for the group dealing with innovation. So for us, FinTech are a way to accelerate the time to market. Clearly, we have to evaluate different solutions present on the market. This is the reason why we have a number of relationships with FinTech hubs, with universities, research centers, and also through our important network, both at national and international level. I think that we have a clear understanding of the best technologies and best solutions on the market available that could be used both for improve our processes, our internal processes, and for the benefit of our different segment of customers. I think that this is very important, and what we usually do is that from time to time we go and visit our partners, our FinTech partners, in order to find if there are some initiatives, some solutions that could be used for our customers. Specifically, when we met with Personetics, we were at our FinTech hub in Israel, and we're looking for innovative technologies based on artificial intelligence and machine learning, able to provide real-time insights to our customer in order to increase digital customer engagement and provide personalized insights. We know very well that also thanks to FinTech, now customers willing to have a personalized solution, personalized recommendation. So it's very important to have a platform able to connect to different databases and able to provide financial insights to our retail customers. Another very important point for us was to find something that could help our customer to adopt a virtuous financial behavior. So to see the bank as a sort of financial coaching. And so at the end of the day, in order to improve on one side the digital customer engagement, and to improve also customer relationship with our different customers, specifically that relevant to our retail customers.
Savino, but in this case, in this specific case, why did you decide to work with Personetics and not to build a custom solution by yourself, since Intesa Sanpaolo is one of the biggest banks in Italy?
Yes, this is a really a good question, Erica, because frankly speaking, we have a very structured process when we have to decide if to make or buy a solution in order to provide services also for internal needs, for example, for improving let's say anti-money laundering checks, for example. So we must make a sort of benchmarking in order to assess in the very objective way which are potential solutions that could be used in a certain business area. Then we have to evaluate them. At the end of the day, at the end of this selection, we have to also speak to our IT departments and our, let's say, our internal stakeholders in order to understand which could be the different options available in providing directly, so in making a solution or in buying it. There are a number, clearly, of parameters that we have to consider when we decide. One of them for the time to market, because as I said, as FinTech companies are a very important access to the market. But clearly, we have also to consider the economical sustainability of the solution. So cost-benefit analysis must be performed as well. So in addition, also cybersecurity checks and legal compliance. So really, there are a number of angles from which we have to analyze the solution. With regard to Personetics, for us it was very important on one side, the fact that buying the solution would have allowed us to be quicker to provide our customer with this kind of features. On the other side, for us, it was very important to be able to personalize the insight to our customers. So for us, it's very important that the Personetics to use data modeling for identifying the recurring impact in financial behavior of our customer. Use analytics also in order to maximize the value of data, and then also make forecast analysis to expenses, to next budget implication. For example, the consequences on the balance of the customer. So the personalization for us is really, really very important, because it makes us closer to our customers. They feel very well that what we are suggesting, the insight we are providing, the financial insight we are providing, are exactly tailor-made, so exactly relevant to the situation, the financial situation of our customers. These basically are the major reasons why we decided to choose Personetics.
Dorel, from a FinTech point of view, you agree, of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and again, thank you, Sabino. I think it's a great love story between Personetics and Intesa Sanpaolo, of course, with Accenture leadership, and thank you for all of that. And I think this is really show the clear synergy and the clear, partnership between companies, between fintech companies and leading banks like Intesa Sanpaolo, today the largest bank in Italy, one of the largest banks in Europe. And we are really proud on this, our ability to quickly go into the market. Sabino spoke about, time to market. I would also add, the innovation approach, the flexibility, the agility, the scalability, and our quick abilities as Personetics, as a global category leader, to really help Intesa Sanpaolo to leverage their biggest asset, which is their own customers' financial transactional data, in order to quickly drive a significant, measurable business impact and market differentiation. And our ability to really help Intesa to completely recreate their relationship with their customers through all sorts of channels, including even other channels, even banker channels, and to help customers, people like you and me, to better manage our financial life, to stay on top of our finance, to increase their financial wellness and resilience, and of course helping Intesa Sanpaolo to better sell and to better service these customers. I think that's the whole idea of this partnership. And we, of course, thank you for that.
So, regarding the implementation, it might be interesting to understand a little bit more how did the Personetics build into the vision of Intesa Sanpaolo. So, Savino and Dorel, of course, how was the project implemented?
Well, first of all, I think that we have to underline that we use also an innovative methodology, as touched upon a few seconds ago, Dorel. We use the co-design workshop that put together all the people in Intesa Sanpaolo from the commercial, market, and IT point of view, and the same on the Personetics side. I think that it is also important to underline that a project in Intesa Sanpaolo, by definition, is a complex project because we are a big bank. We have a number of departments that must be mandatorily involved because of we must be absolutely prudent. We are a systemic bank, so we must have structured processes also for analyzing, making a project, developing new services, and testing them, implementing that. So it's very important for us to have control. Please consider that for this project, only on Intesa Sanpaolo side, at least people were involved. So the coordination effort was quite important, but we do think that one of the greater strengths for Intesa Sanpaolo is represented by our colleagues, by the competence of our colleagues. So it's complex, it's difficult to make a project, but any person adds value. So for us, the co-design workshop were very important, are an accelerator to the project because all the most important were at an early stage. So the major problems, the major potential issues are tackled really in advance at an early stage. So this is a very important, let's say, element in order to make any project a success process. Another important point was represented by a methodology called test and learn that allowed us to test the insights provided by Personetics, both internally and also with customers. But internally, this helped us in order to refine the concept, so to make it better. And the last, I would say, the last very elements is represented by the fact were involved quite early, both in the implementation and testing phase, and also now, because users are periodically sent surveys in order to understand which are the best way to improve further the process. So I think that this could be the most important element to be considered with regard to the implementation of the project.
Okay. Dorel, from your point of view?
Yeah, 2 points maybe, Erika. The first one is really the ability to quickly align key business objectives with realistic, implementation timeframes really early on the process. And that was one of the keys to success. It also made sure that, the project would deliver quick wins early on while having, room to expand in a controlled fashion. So this is a land and expand strategy. Instead of just designing a 2 years, project plan, it's really having those quick wins and then the measurable business impact in terms of, customer engagements, NPS, CSAT scores, digital engagement, conversion rates, balance and account growth, digital sales growth, retention, all of these numbers, all of these measurable business impact throughout the process, and keep expanding and keep adding additional business solutions of Personetics like Savino mentioned. The second point is having the ability to have a quick continuous improvement cycles in building the relationship, both at the business sponsor of the bank levels, but also with the technology teams involved on the ground. So having these periodic, technical steering and business steering committees that really helping us to manage the best expectations and solidify the results. So it's not just, getting our heads down, it's also getting our heads up and making sure that in terms of the business stakeholders, the visibility, the metrics, the numbers, we are always working bottom up, top down, and making sure that everybody are aligned on the steps and the metrics.
Yeah, regarding the implementation, I think that it was very important also to collaborate with you, and we have, as Accenture Italy, 20 people certified by Personetics, and thanks to this we were able to help the bank and Personetics in this partnership to accelerate this initial phase of implementation, and we have been, in my opinion, very instrumental to ensuring a smooth transition and a smooth implementation, integration of Personetics deployment into Intesa Sanpaolo in infrastructure.
So I agree. We have a very strong global partnership with Accenture in several examples in several markets. And by working so closely with Accenture, including, of course, certifying in a proper way the specific local Accenture teams from the product, design, data, IT side, gives us the high level of excellence of professional services that are being delivered with our clients.
Yeah, I think that time is running out, 2 minutes. So one last question for both of you. What were the key lessons learned? Maybe Savino first.
Well, frankly speaking, as I said before, we have been doing proof of concept pilot implementation of FinTech solution for the last at least 10 years. So I don't want to say that the lessons learned are only relevant to what we learned from Personetics, but more generally speaking, I would say that in any project, especially if we are talking with a non-Italian provider, it's very important to have an alignment, a cultural alignment, and also, let's say, a technical alignment in order to really to speak the same. It seems for granted, but it's any people that in his past used to make projects knows very well that it's very difficult to understand immediately each other with our counterparties. So it's very important from my point of view to define this alignment, and in my view the methodology we used, the co-design workshop, were very important, not to understand very well each other. So this is one point. And another very important point for us is to be, as I touched upon before, very structured. So to be very, very careful also in the kind of wording we use when we have to have a relationship with our customers. So when we provide a communication, it must be very consistent with our policy, both from let's say a technical point of view, so from a compliance legal point of view, but also from the tone we usually use. So this is also was a very important element that we have to consider during all the, let's say, the project. So from this point of view, I think that we got a number of relevant to our experience in projects. But as we really want to learn actually from the different projects, we know in advance that the personalizations of solution proposed by FinTech is connected also to an increase in cost, an increase in time to market. So what we learn is that in some cases, when it is possible, clearly, it's also very important not to change in a strong way the solution proposed by our counterparty, by our providers, because these on one side make the solution less costly, and on the other side can reduce the time to market. So when we can, our experience, try and keep the solution.
So thank you for all these insights. Really appreciate it. Also the conversation you had. So maybe I've heard a few keywords. I've heard measurable business impact, especially from you, Doro, but also Savino mentioned it. I mean, there's different business impact KPIs, maybe short-term and long-term. How do you overcome this challenge to really bring them together and to also push these KPIs within the organization? Have you realized any differences, short, long-term, and the challenges that come with this? Maybe Doral, you jump in because you talked about the different measurable business impacts.
Yeah, so I think there are two levels of, first of all, I think maybe take a step back, Natalie. It's all about business impact. In the end of the day, in our space of financial data-driven personalization, it's really becoming today the global battleground, if you will, for financial institutions. And when we are seeing over 35% global increase in digital banking usage, you know, our clients and global banks are really asking themselves how they can better monetize the relationship value with their clients. And there are two types maybe of KPIs. The first one is, of course, the high level of customers' digital engagement, frequency, usage of digital channels, the time spent, and of course, CSAT and other scores. And that's one area that, of course, we are able to quickly focus and create measurable uplift. The second part is the economical, if you will, business impact. Account and balance growth, as I said, conversion rates, which is becoming really important today, digital sales growth, retention, and other KPIs in the economical part. And I think any kind of company that really wants to dominate this market, that really wants to create a measurable, relevant business impact, needs to make sure that he is able to quickly create these two boosting KPIs in the market. And that's exactly where we as Personetics, with over 55 global banks in 25 different markets, are able to really focus. And I think it's important that from day one, you are focusing on the business impact, and you are able to quickly show your clients, the banks, their ability to quickly analyze and understand deeply their customers' financial behavior, past, present, and future, to create an ongoing personalized journey with all sorts of insights, alerts, recommendations, product-based advice, even automated wellness programs, and the tools that giving our clients or our partners like Accenture the ability on an ongoing base to keep modify, to keep create, to actually accelerate their own internal innovation and adapt to market changes. And by providing these three assets of Personetics with the focus on quick business impact, that's what we think provide the great partnership and our ability to scale and grow with our additional business solutions.
Maybe Savino, you can jump in there. Were there any challenges when you tried to convince internally stakeholders between these short and long-term goals and what the company was focusing on? Be it, for instance, economic metrics versus, the customer engagement metrics. Did you see any challenges there internally for the convincing part?
Well, about customer engagement, clearly always difficult to measure their, for example, their fidelity, But apart from the churn rate, we think the platform and let's say financial coaching is a great way to improve the relationship with customers. But I think that take the position of a customer. If my bank helped me to understand where spend my money, if they advise me when I risk to go overdraft, if they help me in order to understand when it's the best moment to invest money or to save some money every month, well, I think that by definition, customer will be considered more engaged, more trustworthy in their bank. So I think that other measure apart from right could be the cross-selling measure that we can see over other accounts opening, but cards or investing and financing, as I said before, one of the game or the insights are to save money or to invest the money in some bank instruments.
Maybe Erica, you can jump in here. I mean, do you see any specific trends in this financial well-being, financial health space, and are there further opportunities for cooperation, such as with Personetics and also with Intesa, what you've seen in your market?
Yes. Since I think in the last 5 years, every banks, I think in Italy and in Europe, invest in the traditional personal financial management features, but we have seen that is not enough for the client. So most of the banks in Italy, but I think in Europe, are looking for a solution like the one from Personetics. So at least in Italy, I'm sure 1 or 3 banks are looking for this kind of solution.
And then there is a specific question to you, Savino. I mean, is this one of your first cooperations with FinTechs, and are you looking for other cooperation areas as a bank? I don't know if we've lost.
Sorry,
yes.
are you? Yeah, I can't hear very well. only to Personetics or just generally speaking to...
No, to you as Intesa. Yes, other areas that you're looking into for the FinTech collaboration.
Well, frankly speaking, we are completely agnostic, both toward the technology and...
Unfortunately, I think we have lost you, Savino, because your mic is off. So maybe we can put it back on, but I can already imagine what Savino was saying. He is basically, because that's also what we see with customers and with clients. They are technology agnostic. That was his last word because before we lost him. But we also see this a lot in the market. It is not about a specific vendor, a specific startup. It's really about finding what the bank needs, what the use case could be, and then seeing what kind of technology, what kind of partner could come in, and really finding the best fit. I hope I described it well, Savino. If not, you can also add something still from your side. Otherwise, maybe still from a culture perspective, because we heard a lot about the collaboration aspect with a specific cultural aspects such as agility or specific co-creation perspectives that helped bring this to life, this collaboration. Both Doral and Savino, one of you.
I think that, as a company, we are a global company. One of the great things that we are trying to do in order to manage any kind of cultural gap is, of course, working with great local partners like Accenture that actually acting as our local, strategic and implementation partners, and it always helps to overcome any kind of gap culture. Also helping us to quickly understand the local data even much faster. Some of our great capabilities is our able to access and analyze the financial transactional data, the merchants data, and truly understand the Intesa Sanpaolo customers' quick financial behavior, past, present, and future. And I think the work that we've done with Accenture on that help us also to quickly access, analyze, get a good analysis to modify our 36 of AI models into the Intesa specific data, and then to create the whole strategy behind that.
Anything from your perspective, Sabino, how to really bring this culture and the collaboration into the bank? You would have to unmute yourself. It's not working now. But Savino, we know that in case there are some questions still from the participants, you're also available later to maybe have some exchanges. And maybe as a wrap up, and if it doesn't work with Savino, then maybe Doral and Erica, one thought that you would have on how to not get stuck at a pilot. What would help? One word or one thought?
I go first, results. Even if it was a pilot, even if we have a part of a lot of insight that Personetics have, to have results on the pilot helps to go on the second phase of the project. And we had.
I would add on one point. First of all, I completely agree with Erica. It's all about having a very structured KPIs, success metrics. And the second thing, from the beginning, having the right business stakeholder that acting as the champion throughout the whole process.
Brilliant. So thanks to the three of you. I know that Savino is also listening. So thank you so much for your insights. Very interesting, the journey that you've also made and how you made this collaboration, the threefold collaboration, really possible. So a big virtual applause to all of you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.